Good evening. For those of you who are aspiring 9-ball players and you find yourself in that handicap range from, let's say, a 3 to a 6 in your local tournament play or league play, I think this video will be highly beneficial for you, because what I'd like to do is walk you through each shot in running a rack of 9-ball and take you through the why and then the how behind each shot. Many of you may have already run several racks of 9-ball, but there's a good chance you can't really explain how you did it. And to be consistent, you want to know exactly why things happen on a pool table so you can repeat those. So I'll get started with this 1 ball. And for this scenario, let's just pretend my opponent broke the balls and came up dry and happened to leave me a real nice shot on the 1. And I have a natural angle to go to the 2 ball. Now, what do I mean by natural angle? Well, in this case, if I'm cutting the 1 slightly to the left and the next ball that I need to get to is to the right of where I am, we know if I cut the ball to the left, my cue ball has to go to the right, correct? So that would be a natural angle. If the next ball in rotation is to the right of where you're going and you're cutting this object ball to the left, that would be a natural angle. However, just because it's a natural angle doesn't mean that I don't have to make some type of an adjustment to get good position. And what I mean by that is if I just shoot the cue ball right in the center and don't put any English on it, there's a good chance I'll run into that 4 ball, or if I get lucky and just barely skim the 4, I could still end up right over here behind the 3 ball and not have a shot at the next ball in rotation, which is the 2. So I'm going to have to make an adjustment. Now I'm going to have to shoot this cue ball with about 1 tip below center, and that's 1 tip of draw English, to hopefully send my cue ball along this path for a nice shot at the 2 next. So let's go ahead and see if I can execute, and then I'll walk you through every shot after that. So again, we're going to go about 1 tip below center here, and just cut the 1 in, and let the speed of your stroke do the rest. Okay, so we avoided the 4, we avoided hooking ourselves behind the 3, got a nice shot at the 2. So we have a slight angle at the 2, and I'm going to shoot this with a center ball and just let the speed of the stroke send the cue ball to the side rail and then back out a little bit for a natural angle on the 3 ball that should put me in good shape for the 4 ball next. You always want to be thinking at least 2 shots ahead. Some players think the entire rack ahead, but plan A doesn't always work out, and you have to improvise and sometimes go to plan B and sometimes plan C, and so on and so forth. So this will be center ball with a nice medium stroke. Okay. I got a little bit straighter than I would like on the 3, but we're still okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to shoot the 3 ball firm up the rail, again with the center ball, and the firmness of my stroke is going to send the cue ball to the side rail and back out for a shot on that 4. So this is going to be a firm stroke instead of a medium stroke. You still want your backstroke to be nice and deliberate and smooth. You don't want to jerk it back, even when you're shooting firm. Just like that. That's one huge mistake a lot of novice players make, is they jerk the cue back, and then that transition from the backstroke to the follow through is not smooth. If it's jerky, all kinds of bad things can happen when you're cueing that cue ball. So make sure your backstroke is deliberate and smooth. Don't jerk it back away from the cue ball, because then it makes it nearly impossible to have a smooth transition from the backstroke to the follow through. And you do want that to be a smooth transition. It's similar to a golf swing. I played golf all my life and I played pool all my life. And when I was playing college golf, one of the things that you saw with players is when they started hitting their driver erratically, it was usually that transition from the top of the backswing to the start of the downswing. If it was a violent transition, the ball was liable to go anywhere. If it's a smooth transition, they're usually hitting pretty accurate drives. And the pool stroke is very similar to that, just in a lot shorter form. Instead of a stroke that's 8 or 9 feet long, you've got a stroke that might be 8 to 12 inches long for most players, unless you're Rafael Martinez or one of those champions who has a 14 or 15 inch stroke and knows exactly where the cue ball's going. So from here, we're almost straight in. So I'm going to shoot this with about a tip and a half below center and just draw my cue ball back for a shot on this 5. Okay. I came up a little bit short of where I would have liked. However, I do have a natural angle to get to the 6. Since the 6 is on this side rail right here, I know that I can just cut the 5 in that left corner. The cue ball will come down here to the bottom rail, to the side rail, and back out here between these two balls and give myself a relatively easy shot on the 6. So this is going to be a high cue ball, about a tip and a half above center, and no side spin. Okay, I could have shot that just a little bit harder, but I'm still okay. Got a nice shot at the 6. So from here, I have a couple of options. I've got a little bit of an angle. So I can either follow forward and rub the side rail, go to the top rail, and then back out to the middle of the table for a shot at the 7 on the side. Or I could do the same thing and stop short and shoot the 7 in the corner. Or I can draw back and try to shoot the 7 in the side or this corner. What I like to do in a case like this, so I don't have to really force the shot too hard, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and follow with just a natural high cue ball and put just a touch of right English, about half a tip of right English on it. And what that right English will do, when it gets to the top rail, it will spin the cue ball to the right out in this area. So always look at your cue ball like it's a clock. And in this particular shot, I'm going to shoot about 1 o'clock. If I had a clock face on that cue ball, about 1 o'clock. So not a ton of right English. I'm not shooting at 2 or 3 o'clock, but about 1 o'clock on my cue ball. Okay, I could have shot it about 4 inches harder and would have left me a perfectly straight in shot on the 7, but I like this just fine. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and just slow roll this 7 in. My cue ball is going to take a natural angle right along this line. I should end up with a nice shot on the 8 to shoot up the rail here and follow for position on the 9. Just like that. So now I'm straight in on the 8, and again, make a nice smooth stroke, about a tip and a half above center on the cue ball, and just control your speed. I want to end up between the second diamond and the first diamond right in here for a nice shot on the 9. I can come a little bit further, but I don't want to risk following the 8 in. So my target is right in between these two diamonds for a nice cut shot on the 9 to win the game. So about 1.5 tips above center and a nice smooth stroke. And stay down on these. Just like that. Sound perfect, right in between the second and first diamond. No chance of following it in. Now you just got a nice simple cut shot on the 9. On this one, I'm going to just shoot with center ball, but a little above center. What I mean by that is right on the center axis of the cue ball, just a little bit above center. Since I'm close to the rail, I don't want to have to jack up, the butt end of my cue. I don't want to do that if I don't have to, because anytime you elevate the butt end of your stick, your accuracy goes down by a pretty large percentage. And the reason that happens is if you don't hit exactly in the center of the cue ball, when you elevate the butt end of your cue stick, you're actually massing or curving the cue ball. And a lot of good players can do that on purpose when they want to go around another ball, but you do not want to have that happen if you're shooting a 9 ball as your winning ball. You want to have as accurate a stroke as you can possibly have and hit the spot you're aiming at. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit a little bit above center here and just cut this 9 straight in the pocket. And you'll notice my cue ball comes right down the middle of the table, and no chance at a scratch right there. So that's kind of the how and the why behind each shot. We didn't stay in perfect alignment throughout the entire rack. We had to make a couple of adjustments, but overall it was a pretty smooth run out. We didn't have to run into other balls, and we didn't have to slop anything in or anything like that. It was a pretty efficient run out. I'll take those all day long just like that. But hopefully that's helped you. And if it has, I'm gonna go ahead and post this video, and give me a like if you like the video, and I'll do some more. Maybe I'll do some 8-ball videos or some bank videos or something else. I've been playing pool now for about 40 years. I'm 52 years old, been playing for around 40 years, and I've won over 1,000 local tournaments in bars and pool halls, that type of thing. And I've won 2 professional tournaments in my career, but I've never played pool full-time professionally. I've always worked for a living, and I've always used pool as a great outlet. I love the game. I love pool and golf, my 2 favorite sports. And it's a great outlet for me, and it always has been. And if I can help you to enjoy the game a little bit more by improving your game a little bit, I would love to do that. I think everybody that sees themselves improving will absolutely enjoy what they're doing. If you hit just a point where you're stagnant and you're not improving anymore, that's when a lot of people get frustrated and end up leaving the game. And I'd like to bring more people into the game if possible. I've done what I wanted to do with the game. I put myself through college on a golf scholarship, and was fortunate to never have to work a part-time job because I always played tournaments, and those tournaments paid a little bit here and there, and paid myself better than a part-time job would have. So now I just like to give back and hopefully grow the game a little bit to where I'd like to see it get in the future. So like I said, if you like what you saw, please give me a like, and we'll do some more. Thank you, and good luck on the cloth. Good night.